We begin in the Caribbean, and that's because Hurricane Melissa intensified over the weekend. It is now a Category 5 storm with 160 miles per hour winds. Melissa is expected to make landfall in Jamaica tomorrow as the strongest hurricane on record to hit the island. The area is bracing for flash flooding and landslides. And we know residents there are stocking up in supplies and making other last-minute preparations. Businesses are boarding up windows, and tourists just over the weekend, they hustled to make their way off the island. Jamaica's two main international airports are closed ahead of the storm.
Well, the look of how things is going right now and how I see the sky and the weather coming in, I think this one is different. I think we're definitely gonna have this one gonna impact us hard.
Usually when they see a storm is coming, usually it doesn't hit us. We don't get the full impact. So me personally, I've never witnessed a hurricane that has damaged Jamaica. So I'm not sure if I'm scared because I don't know what to expect.
So coming to us live from the island is a resident and manager at a local bed and breakfast. Andrea, thank you for joining us. Let's talk about the conditions that you're seeing. What's happening right now?
Right now, it's pretty calm. We are on the west end of the island. We're in Lucea, Hanover, which is midway between Montego Bay and Negril. And it's pretty calm, uneventful at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the greenery behind you. Not really too much wind at this point. But how is the staff preparing for the storm? What kind of reaction are you seeing and hearing from your hotel guests?
Well, I think our guests are pretty calm. We did accept a couple of guests from other properties that didn't have, generators and things like that. So we have two properties. So the one you're showing now is by the sea. So we move all our guests inland to the other property, which is, a little bit farther from the ocean.
Sure. So are there any concerns about the infrastructure of the property there? Has it sustained strong storms in the past?
So we went through Beryl, last year. At the property where we are right now, we're pretty resilient. We think it's a concrete structure. Our roof has the hurricane straps or J-bolts in them. We actually have hurricane shutters. We have about 50 gallons of diesel fuel for our generator. We have about 200 pounds of propane. We have about 12,500 gallons of water in our water tank, which is partially below ground. So I think we're looking pretty good here at Blue Paloma.
When you were watching Melissa's path, you must have been a little bit nervous over the weekend, though.
Yes, we were, because over the weekend, it looks like it was mostly coming towards Hanover, Westmoreland, Westmoreland, Hanover to St. James. And then it shifted east, and now it's moved a little bit more central, so a little bit closer to us here on the west end of the island.
Well, I know you're preparing and bracing and getting all of your residents there taken care of. We appreciate your time. We'll check back with you, Andrea. Thank you so much.
But what I think, as a human being, I think they should evacuate and leave down here, because down here does not look safe. It doesn't look safe because you have children down here, you have people that live down here, and when you look at the whale, you can see it coming up. It is not turning back. It's coming straight ahead. So what I think, as a human being, they should leave down here.
Oh, the people outside, they don't know the danger of this. They just feel like we just want to just be here. We don't. But as I said, there's not many things that all of us are able to connect to or get. You have to go through channels. The government is giving out money right now, but you have to have some form of linkage to get that. So the line that you have to wait on to get things, it's very hard. So everybody just gives up and do what they have to do for themselves.
We begin with Category 5 Hurricane Melissa approaching Jamaica. CBS News correspondent Jason Allen is in the capital city of Kingston on the island's southeastern coast.
These are probably some of the strongest winds yet. and definitely the heaviest rain yet that has been felt in the capital city of Kingston, Jamaica. We're in somewhat of a protected area right here, and still we're hearing things banging all around us, things moving in the wind, and the way that the infrastructure is here, it really remains to be seen how long some of these buildings can hold up to winds like this. We've been watching some of the buildings that are built here along the waterfront. Typically, this would be full of boats. All of the fishermen along this area have pulled them out. There's not a lot of places to take those boats. In some places, they're just, in fact, there's some right here. They're just sitting on the edge of the shoreline, tied up, and they're hoping that storm surge and tide and waves don't get this high. The city this evening is mostly quiet, but we have still seen people out and about. Remember, this is such a slow-moving storm that some of the rain bands have been rotating in here for the last 3 days. People were told to get food to prepare for 3 days at home. Now they've burned through some of those supplies, and so some people today were going back out and finding stores that were open and restocking for the week ahead. Conditions are only expected to get worse here as the night goes on, especially as this storm rotates closer to the coast. The wind kind of shifts out of the south. That's when we expect the heaviest rain to hit those mountains that are around Jamaica. There is a very, very big concern with rainfall predicted of a foot, 2 feet, maybe more. How well those gullies and those culverts are going to handle the rainfall that comes out of those mountains. It's going to be a long night for people in Kingston and across the rest of Jamaica.
Jason Allen, thank you. CBS New York chief weathercaster Lonnie Quinn is tracking this storm. Lonnie, where is this headed?
Okay, as of right now, it's 140 miles or so off the southern shores of Jamaica. All right, here's Jamaica right here. Let's zoom in a little tighter because there's something interesting here. That's the western tip of Jamaica. Here's our storm. Look how it's moving. Looks like it's moving away from Jamaica, and yet we feel very certain it's going to be doing almost like a U-turn. Why is that? We sent hurricane hunters into the storm to collect data so we can be as precise as possible about where it's going. Check this out. We sent a hurricane hunter in this morning, collecting its data. It goes through that eye wall about 8 different times. All right, we come back with the data. Well, they went in again this afternoon so we could have more updated information, except it proved to be too dangerous. They had to spin around and go back to the airport. That didn't happen. So we're still working off of this morning's data. It looks to be making landfall early tomorrow morning, the western tip of Jamaica. It's a Category 5. Now, is it 175 mile per hour winds? Is it 160, maybe 157? It's a Cat 5. It's coming on shore, and it's with the Jamaica for the entire day. You heard the Prime Minister say, we've got to hunker down here for a long period. This is not going to be a quick-hitting storm. That's how you end up getting rainfall totals. He was saying 1 to 2 feet. I'll tell you 1 to 2, if not 3. Okay, some folks could even see more than that. A lot of storm surge as well, 9 to 13 feet. And on top of all that, all the rain that is falling in that mountainous areas has to flow down the mountains towards the shoreline and communities. And it could just be a devastating situation. This will be the strongest storm, I believe, to ever hit Jamaica. Cuba is up next. The eastern tip of Cuba as probably a Cat 3, and then it's into the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos, probably is a Cat 2. But right now, the here and the now, it's all, Lindsay, about Jamaica.
Okay, Lonnie Quinn, we appreciate you. Thank you.